Participants in the room, please do not join the meeting in Zoom. Virtual participants, if you lose connection at any point during the meeting, you can reconnect by clicking the link or calling the number in your original email. Members attending virtually, if you are able, please activate your video for purpose of quorum and keep it on for the duration of the meeting. Staff, if you are able, please activate your video when you are speaking. Members of the committee, when you wish to speak, ask questions, or request a roll call vote, please push the person button on your microphone or raise your hand virtually. Those in the room will have their microphone turned on when they are recognized to speak. Those attending virtually can unmute themselves when recognized. When you're finished, all should mute themselves. Members of the public who have registered to speak. Those appearing virtually, the name you entered in Zoom must match the name you entered in registration. You will remain muted until called upon. If you are here in person, when you are called to speak, approach one of the two podiums on either side of the dais and you will be recognized. For all registrants, the clerk will tell you when your time is up. After all public speakers, a member of the body may ask you a question. If you need to share documentation with the committee, please send it to the email listed on today's agenda. Thank you. Chair, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Verbeek. This meeting is governed by Robert's Rules of Order. All speakers wishing to address the committee regarding an agenda item must first complete a registration form and submit it to the city clerk designee. Speakers may speak to the committee only after they're called by the chair. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. After speaking to the committee, if you're here in person, please take your seat in the gallery. The public is not allowed to address or respond to speakers or committee members unless and until they have been recognized by the chair of the committee. Mr. Verbeek, are there any notified absences?
There are not any notified absences.
All right. Call this meeting of the Alcohol License Review Committee to order at 5:39 p.m. Mr. Verbeek, please call the roll.
Alderman Yazzie? Alderman Yazzie? Maybe he stepped away. Alder Revere?
Here.
Alder Revere is here. Mr. Baruchuk?
Here.
Baruchuk is here. Dr. Reese?
Here.
Dr. Reese is here. Ms. Farley? Not see Ms. Farley. Mr. Donnelly?
Present.
Donnelly's here.
I think staff did speak.
I got you, Alderman Yazzie.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
That's right. Ms. Westra?
Here.
Ms. Westra is here. Alder Knox? Do not see Alder Knox. Ms. Carter? I do not see Ms. Carter. Chair, we have quorum.
Thank you. First order of business is the approval of the minutes from our November 22nd meeting. Committee, what's your pleasure? Your motion to approve from Mr. Baruchuk. Is there a second? Second from Dr. Reese. Any corrections or discussion? Hearing none, is there any dissent? Hearing none, motion carries. The minutes are approved. Mr. Verbeek, are there any registrants or general public comment?
There are not.
All right, disclosures and recusals. So members of the body should make any required disclosures or recusals under the city's ethics code. Are there any such? It appears there are not. Next up, presentation of the consent agenda. At this time, a consent agenda will be moved with a recommended action for each item, which could be to grant with conditions, or refer to a future meeting. If any item has registrants opposed, wishing to speak, or if a member would like an item separated, it will be removed from the consent agenda. For those of you attending the meeting with some sort of business, what you should do is listen to this list, which Mr. Verbeek is going to read quickly, then we'll remove items from it, or possibly remove items, then we'll vote on it, and then Mr. Verbeek will read it again, and if your item is on the list at that point, you get to go home. Mr. Verbeek, will you read the list, please?
Sure. The proposed consent agenda for ALRC meeting. The proposed consent agenda for ALRC meeting December 20th, 2023. Recommended council to grant change of agent, item 5. Entity reorganization, item 6, 7, and 8. 8 is a little different. It's something that we did in 2022 where an entity has changed their name as it's registered with the Department of Financial Institutions. Previously, it was Hugh Art Gallery LLC, changed to T-Center LLC. This is more of a simple C&W Restaurant of Madison LLC to C&W Restaurant of Madison, Inc. And then item number 9, request to extend license issuance and refer to future meeting of the ALRC is item number 12, public hearing new license, a license transfer for Dominique Johnson. This applicant is submitting an additional application that they're going to be hopefully in time for next month's meeting, so it'll be taken at the same time.
Excellent. Committee, are there any items that you would like separated from the proposed consent agenda? If there are none, a motion would be in order.
I move to approve the consent agenda with all of the recommendations.
Your motion to accept the consent agenda as proposed from Mr. Bruchak. Is there a second? Second from Dr. Reese. Any discussion? Hearing none. Any dissent? Hearing none. Motion carries. Consent agenda is accepted as proposed. So now is the time where you can listen for Jim to read off your item, and if all of your business is on this list, you are done for the night. Mr. Verbeek.
Sure. The past consent agenda for ALRC meeting December 20th, 2023. Recommended council to grant item number 5, change of agent, Quick Trip Inc. Item number 6, entity reorganization for Portillo's Hot Dogs LLC at 7230 West Town Way. Item number 7, entity reorganization for Portillo's Hot Dogs LLC at 4505 East Town Boulevard. Item number 8, entity reorganization for C&W Restaurant of Madison LLC. New entity name, C&W Restaurant of Madison, Inc. Number 9, request to extend license issuance beyond 180-day limit under MGO 38.05, C&W Restaurant of Madison LLC. And lastly, refer to a future meeting of the Alcohol License Review Committee. Number 12, public hearing license transfer for Dominique Johnson. This is by the applicant's request.
All right. Thank you very much.
Chair, if we can have the interpreter for Chinese let the applicant know that they're on the consent agenda and they've been dealt with.
That would be excellent. Will you please do so?
你好，你今天这个项目已经被同意了，所以今天就可以结束了。你的申请被通过了。
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Holly. I think that's all we got for you today.
Okay, great. Thanks. Have a good night.
You have a good night, too. All right. Next up, item 2, operator's license application for Casper Lupa. Do we have a registrant here for this item?
We do not.
All right. Committee, what's your pleasure?
Is this the first time they've been on the agenda since I missed last month?
The second time.
The second time?
Yep.
Have we had any communication with them?
I've not heard anything from back. When I sent the registration out for them on Friday, I gave them the warning that it's potential that the committee could place the item on file if they did not show up to this meeting, or at least let us know.
I moved to place on file.
Your motion to place on file, is there a second? Second from Mr. Bruchak. Any discussion? Hearing none. Any dissent? Hearing none, motion carries. Next, item 3, operator's license application for Edwin M. Henderson. Do we have a registrant for this item?
We do. If they're in the participants list. Yes, and Edwin is in Zoom.
Hello.
Hello, is this Edwin?
Yes, this is.
Excellent, thank you. And Jim, has Captain Hanson joined us.
Yes.
Captain Hanson,
Yes.
can you please explain why this item or why this application was separated for review by the ALRC?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. We had concerns for the guideline number 1 based on some of the cases, law enforcement cases with Mr. Henderson. And it's not my role whatsoever to judge. It's simply to share the information as we do a background investigation as a department. And just to share that information, in 2017, there was an arrest for resisting, 2018, an OWI, and then in 2020, a felony attempted theft of movable property. So our role as a department when we get these applications is to review their background, and I'm sharing that with the committee.
Excellent. Thank you, Captain Hanson. So, Edwin, is there anything you are under no obligation to do so, or Mr. Bruchak?
Is it time to ask questions of the applicant?
We'll give him an
Oh, that's right.
opportunity first to say anything that he would like, but after that, yes.
I know why.
So, Edwin, if you would like, you can have up to 3 minutes to express yourself. Otherwise, you can wait for committee members to ask you questions.
I can just wait for people to ask me questions.
By all means. In that case, let's let Mr. Bruchak go first.
Hello, Edwin. Thanks for being here today. After the OWI in 2018, were you required to complete alcohol and other drug assessment?
Well, no, I wasn't required. I never got like that finished.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
I said I never got that finished.
Okay. But you weren't required to do it?
No,
And you didn't do it?
no.
Okay. Okay, that's the end of my questions. Thanks.
All right. Committee, what other questions do you have for the applicant? Mr. Verbeek, are there any other registrants for this item?
There are not.
Committee, what is your pleasure?
Looks like Attorney McReynolds has.
Yeah, Attorney McReynolds has had her hand up, Chair, for the last couple minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't shown up for some reason. Attorney McReynolds.
Hi, everyone. I did want to mention Mr. Henderson said he wasn't required to do AODA. I happen to know from my work in the city attorney's office that anyone who has an OWI is required by the court to do AODA. So it's one thing if he didn't do it, but he would have been required by the court to do so.
And what is what's the stick there? Like, what's the consequence if one does not do it?
Yeah, usually it's a loss of driver's license privileges, or you have restrictions on your license until you complete it and prove to the DOT that you have completed it. I don't know if there's further consequences if you if someone has those restrictions and they get pulled over, without having that done. I think it would be like a revocation of a license, but I'm not sure on that. I just know that every judge has to impose AODA when someone has convicted of an OWI.
Right. Thank you. Committee, what's your pleasure? Mr. Bruchak.
I guess I can ask the applicant to respond to that. I'm mainly concerned if the AODA was done or if something equivalent was done. I'm curious about what the results of that was. Did the counselor or the professional who did the assessment come to any conclusions? It would be my question if it's done.
Edwin?
Well, I mean, I never, like, there were a couple times where I tried to get it done, but like during that time, I just like, it's like $400 to like go through and get all of that finished. Or like to like get the whole like assessment. So like, I just didn't have like the money to do it at the time. So I really didn't, but I did get like put on probation for the robbery thing in like 2020 or in whenever time that happened. And they did like my probation officer did like recommend me to like have an assessment done like for like drugs and alcohol. And like the person I did the assessment with did like say that like she wasn't like worried about anything and like went back to my probation officer like with that information. So there is that, but yeah, like I didn't finish that. I didn't like get to the assessment ever.
That answers my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Mitty, what is your pleasure? Dr. Reese.
Hey, Edwin. Are you still on any kind of supervision for the 2020 incident?
Yes, but I'm on my I only have like a couple more months. I should be done like sometime in the summer.
Okay. Have you talked to your PO about this license you're trying to get?
I actually haven't, but I actually have not heard from her in like a little bit, so.
All right. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Reese. Committee, what's your pleasure? Dr. Reese.
I would move to grant on the condition that we get, we've done this before where we get a letter from the probation officer indicating that this is in line with the rules of supervision.
All right, we have a motion to grant with a condition of proof from the corrections officer. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Westra. Discussion. Mr. Verbeek, from the city clerk's office's point of view, do you have any concerns?
No.
No. All right. So hearing none, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, is there any dissent? Hearing none, motion carries. So Edwin, do you understand what you need to do next?
Yes, I do.
Wonderful. Hope you have a good night then.
Edwin, before you go, I would say the deadline sort of get that in would probably be about the 8th of January. The meeting that this will go to is going to be the 9th of January. So you can email to licensing@cityofmadison.com and we can take that.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
You guys too.
Thank you. All right, let's jump to item 11 since that needs an interpreter. So item 11 is a 21 plus entertainment license for El Panzon. Do we have a registrant here for this item?
I believe we do. I believe we do. Matilda Ani Rojas. Yep.
All right. Will you please, do you need to swear in the interpreter?
Yes. If you have here, raise your right hand. You affirm you'll accurately interpret Spanish to English and English to Spanish?
I do.
Excellent. Thank you.
Great. So, can you please introduce yourself and tell us what you are proposing?
¿Puede presentarse y decirnos cuál es su propuesta?
Está bien así parada, no hay problema. Buenas noches. Bueno, venía yo porque solicitaba, por favor, la licencia de entretenimiento.
I just came to ask for the entertainment license.
Normalmente lo que nosotros queremos hacer solamente es el karaoke. Venimos, antes de empezar a hacerlo, venimos a preguntar y nos dijeron que pues normalmente a veces para el karaoke no se requería una licencia, pero nosotros queremos estar más seguros y por cualquier cosa mejor obtenerla, si nos la permite.
Yeah, basically our plan is to have a karaoke, and we came to ask, and they told me that we didn't need a license, but we just want to be on the safe side and have the license, obtain the license just to make sure we are like on the safe side.
Okay. And you were here last month, correct?
Estuvo aquí el mes pasado también, ¿verdad?
No vine la vez pasada y igual también quería pedir una disculpa porque tuve un problema médico y la verdad fue por eso que yo no vine, no me reuní, pero hablé a otro día con el comité para dejarles saber. Entonces fue por eso que me dieron este día para la corte.
No, I was not able to come. I was scheduled for the previous meeting, but I was not able to come due to medical issues. But I called the following day, and they gave me this day to come.
Excellent. I'm glad you could be here tonight.
Me alegro de que pueda estar aquí esta noche.
Muchas gracias.
Committee, what questions do you have for the applicant? I see the hand, but I can't tell who it is because the screen is too small. Ms. Carter.
Thank you. Can you just give me a refresher on what your hours are going to be?
¿Me podría refrescar un poco la memoria con cuáles son las horas que tiene pensado hacerlo?
Sería de 10 de la noche a 2 de la mañana.
Our plan is to do it from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Is that every day?
¿Todos los días?
No, solamente serían los viernes. Por el momento estamos pensando si es posible, nada más sería el primer viernes y el tercer viernes de cada mes.
So far, we are thinking of doing it just on the first and third Friday of each month.
Okay. I see on your application that you state that that you would not need, I'm trying to get to it, sorry. Regarding parking lot, handling your parking lot control and clearance, you're saying that you won't need it. So are you saying that you don't think you're going to be that busy on the 2 Fridays that you're going to be having your operation till 2 a.m.?
Sí, veo aquí en su solicitud que dice que no cree que necesiten tener a nadie para controlar el estacionamiento. Lo que quiere decir es que no piensan estar tan ocupados, que haya tanta gente como para que esto sea necesario.
Correcto.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And then my last question is that somewhere in here I saw that you're not going to have security. But then you have security will be in uniforms? So are you using staff as security?
Entonces, aquí en alguna parte, oh, sorry, Carter, sorry, Elder Carter.
No, that's okay.
Ah, ok. Aquí en alguna parte dice que en un lado dicen que no va a haber seguridad, personal de seguridad, y en otro lado dice que van a estar en uniforme. ¿Quiere esto decir que van a usar al personal del restaurante como seguridad?
Sí, normalmente eso es lo que pensábamos, porque como le digo, no sabemos cómo vaya a funcionar. Depende que nosotros veamos que pues en realidad sí ya sea más, entonces pues pondríamos a alguien. De hecho, pues nosotros tendríamos que estar al pendiente porque es nuestra responsabilidad de saber que todo esté controlado.
Yes, our plan is to do that because right now we don't know how is it going to work. But in case we need more security, we will add that because we know it is our responsibility to handle that.
Okay. Thank you. If I have any more questions, I'll come back. Thank you.
Gracias. Si tengo alguna otra pregunta, volveré a intervenir.
Gracias.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. Ms. Farley.
Yes, in answering Ms. Carter's question, you stated that you were planning on having activities from 10 p.m. Until I believe you said 1 a.m.
2 a.m.
2 a.m. Your current alcohol license has a condition that alcohol service shall cease by 10 p.m. daily. I assume that you're aware of this condition and do not plan on serving alcohol between or after 10 p.m.
Sí, entonces lo que nos dijo que las horas de operación del karaoke serían entre las 10 de la noche y las 2 de la mañana, pero hay una condición en su licencia de alcohol que dice que no sirven alcohol después de las 10 de la noche. ¿Es usted consciente de esta restricción y entonces no servirían alcohol a partir de las 10 de la noche?
Bueno, de hecho, yo tengo entendido y tengo el papel que me dieron que mi licencia de alcohol la tengo hasta para las 2:30.
¿Dijo 2 o 12?
No, 2:30.
2:30. Okay.
Pero nosotros normalmente nuestras horas diríamos que el servicio en el restaurante lo tenemos de 10 de la mañana a 10 de la noche. De lunes a viernes. Y el sábado estamos de 10 de la mañana a 7 de la noche.
So I think the license I have, it says that we have like the alcohol license until 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m. each night. But our hours of operation are usually 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day, and on Saturdays 10 to 7 p.m.
I guess point of information, Mr. Verbeek, I'm looking at the alcohol license in the City of Madison report, and it looks like I see a condition that alcohol service shall cease by 10 p.m. daily.
Estoy viendo la licencia de alcohol del report de la ciudad de Madison que aparece en el reporte y aquí parece que dice que la venta de alcohol debe detenerse para las 10 de la noche.
Bueno, entonces no sé qué haya pasado ahí, pero no traje el papel conmigo, pero yo podría mandar un correo donde en el papel que me dieron la última corte que tuve, ahí me lo rayaron porque estuvo la señorita Janet. Ella fue la que le pregunté y fue que me dijo que ese es el horario que normalmente tenía yo. Pero como le digo, ahorita no lo hemos estado haciendo, pues por eso es que queremos aplicar para la licencia de entretenimiento.
Yeah, I don't have that piece of paper with me, but I can pass that on through an email. But I was talking to Miss Janet, and she scratched that time. And in the last court that we had, let me clarify what she means by court, because I don't think it's court. Anaí, perdón, dijo usted que la corte, la última corte que tuvieron, ¿a qué se refiere con la corte? ¿Es esta reunión del comité?
Cuando aprobaron la licencia de licor.
Okay, yeah, when she said court, but she meant this committee. When it was approved, that was the case.
So the question is for Mr. Verbeck. What is on the license?
Yeah, Ms. Farley, I'm seeing the same thing. It looks like there's two conditions. Number one, alcohol service shall cease by 10 p.m. daily. And number two, must meet the definition of a restaurant as defined by Madison General Ordinance 38.02 at all times.
Does that answer your question, Ms. Farley?
It does. Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead, Julio.
Sí, el señor Verbeek dijo que él está viendo lo mismo en la licencia, que hay dos restricciones. La primera, que la venta de alcohol debe terminar para las 10 de la noche, y la segunda es que el local tiene que funcionar como restaurante en todo el horario, siguiendo con las ordenanzas de la ciudad.
That is not a question for you. All right. Ms. Farley?
Yes, it does answer my question.
Okay.
Yes.
Mitty, what is your pleasure?
Mike Alder Figueroa has her hand raised.
Let's go with her first. Alder Figueroa Cole? Alder Figueroa Cole?
Sorry, trying to work with the phone. I actually do have a question for the committee, not for the applicant. So I don't know.
That's fine.
If I'm
Go ahead.
Yes. So can you, a couple of things. Yeah, I don't know anything about the conditions part. I just passed on whatever information was provided. So I don't know where the time confusion is coming from. But on regards to what she's applying for now, what she's intending, what she's saying that she's intending to use the location for, can the body please explain to me the difference between karaoke versus needing a license for music? What is the difference, or is there a difference?
So there is a difference. There are certain...
Let me...
Oh, thank you.
Mike, let me just let the... Anay, simplemente la concejal Figueroa Cole es una pregunta no para usted, es para el comité, sobre cuál es la diferencia entre los planes que usted tiene, cuál sería la diferencia entre pedir la licencia para hacer un karaoke o para tener música en el local. Pero no es una pregunta para usted.
Está bien.
All right. So to answer, I'll give a first pass at answering, and then Assistant City Attorney McReynolds can correct me. You are allowed to have music at an establishment without an entertainment license. This would be like background music that would be played at a restaurant. An acoustic musician playing solo, and I believe karaoke is included as something that does not require an explicit license. If you want to have an amplified band, then you do, or a DJ, you do need to have an entertainment license. Assistant City Attorney McReynolds, what did I leave out?
That's correct. So the ordinance defines what live entertainment means. And it means, as the chair said, live music, a disc jockey or DJ, but does not include non-amplified or acoustic music performed by a single artist, or performances where an uncompensated patron sings along with a machine that plays pre-recorded music, commonly known as karaoke. So that's the distinction. You don't need it for karaoke, you do for a DJ. Does that answer your question, Alder?
So is the karaoke not but how does the sound goes around that? Like, is it amplified, not amplified? How does the amplification terminology plays into these distinctions?
Let's let the interpreter interpret first before we.
Thank
Gracias.
you.
Entonces, Anaí, simplemente el presidente del comité explicó que básicamente para lo que no es necesario una licencia de entretenimiento sería como si tiene música de fondo en el restaurante, si hay un solo músico tocando música acústica sin estar enchufada en ningún tipo de aparato eléctrico, o para karaoke. Para eso no haría falta esa licencia de entretenimiento. Para lo que sí hace falta una licencia de entretenimiento si se toca una banda con amplificadores o un disc jockey, un DJ. Entonces, para este tipo de entretenimiento en vivo. Y la abogada de la ciudad confirmó que lo que dijo el presidente es lo correcto, que para el karaoke no es necesario esta licencia de entretenimiento.
So before we move on, I would like to ask a couple of questions of the applicant. So, Matilda, first, in case you missed it before, there is a condition on your license that you are not allowed to serve alcohol after 10 p.m. Do you understand?
Entonces tengo un par de preguntas antes de seguir adelante. Entonces, por lo que parece, hay una condición en su licencia que no le permite servir alcohol más allá de las 10 de la noche. ¿Entiende eso, que eso está vigente?
Sí, pues ahora que ya lo sé, pues tendré yo que volver a aplicar para ver si me dan el permiso de tener el alcohol hasta esa hora.
Yes, now I know. So now probably I would need to make a request to be allowed to serve alcohol until that time.
So you can make an application for a change of licensed conditions, to change the conditions on your license. But that does have to be, that can't be tonight. We have open meetings rules that say we need to give people notice if something like that is going to be.
Sí, puede hacer esa solicitud de cambio, pero evidentemente no se puede hacer esta noche misma porque tenemos unas reglas que se tiene que hacer una notificación pública cuando va a haber un cambio de ese tipo.
Sí. Está bien.
Yes. Yep, that's fine.
So additionally, while you would not be allowed to have alcohol and karaoke after 10 p.m., there is currently no restriction on your ability to have karaoke. So this license that you're applying for is one that you both do not need and, given the way you've described it, cannot use.
Entonces, básicamente, simplemente por aclarar, no necesita esta licencia que está solicitando para lo que nos ha explicado que pretende hacer con el karaoke. Entonces, simplemente eso, esta licencia son dos cosas, no la necesita y por otro lado no la puede usar.
Okay.
So, I apologize, those were not really questions. Now I have a question. Would you like to continue with this tonight, or would you like us to let you go away and decide what you want to do next?
Entonces, perdón, esas no eran preguntas, ahora viene la pregunta. Entonces, ¿le gustaría continuar con lo que estamos haciendo esta noche o le gustaría simplemente pensarlo, repensarlo y volver otro día?
Bueno, pues yo creo que el primer paso sería extender el horario de la licencia de licor y pues ya vería para lo de la licencia de entretenimiento.
Yeah, I think now that the first step would be just like to extend the time for the alcohol license, and then once we have that, like think about the entertainment license.
So one option that would be available is that we can refer this item to a future meeting. What that means is if you end up going forward with this, you don't need to fill out a new application and pay a new. Is that what you would like us to do right now?
Una cosa que se podría hacer sería referir este asunto a una reunión posterior más adelante y con eso se ahorraría el tener que hacer la solicitud y pagar la tasa de hacer la solicitud. ¿Es eso algo que le gustaría hacer?
Y si seguimos con el proceso ahorita, Eso diríamos que me sirve para cuando ya tenga la licencia extendida.
Just let me ask a question. If we continued with the process now, would that be valid for the time when I already had the extended alcohol license?
Yes, it certainly would. Now, bear in mind, you still don't need this license to do karaoke. And if you continue trying to get it only for karaoke, you will receive many questions about why you're applying for a license you don't need.
Sí, pero recuerde que para el karaoke realmente no necesita esta licencia y seguramente le van a hacer muchas preguntas sobre por qué solicita la licencia cuando no la necesita para el karaoke.
¿Podría decir unas palabras?
Bien, adelante.
Bueno, yo solicité la licencia de karaoke porque pues más que nada no nos gustaría hacer cosas que no fueran reglamentales. Entonces, pues igual a veces la gente, pues como puede ser que esté en el karaoke y de repente se puedan levantar a bailar, ¿verdad? Entonces, eso es lo que yo quería preguntarles a ellos, que si normalmente cuando es el karaoke, la gente sí puede levantarse a bailar o no. Entonces ya sí, con ese permiso que nosotros estamos solicitando, estaríamos más seguros de que estamos haciendo las cosas bien.
Yes, so basically my question would be like the reason we were asking for the license was just to make sure to be following the rules completely, because my concern was like if somebody is singing the karaoke and someone else gets up and start dancing, I'm not sure if that for that we would need the license. So we just wanted to make sure that we were like following the rules.
Assistant City Attorney McReynolds, if an establishment has karaoke and someone is singing and someone gets up and dances while the other person is singing, are they in violation?
I just searching quickly through our ordinances, it looks like the short answer is no. There's nothing under the entertainment license that talks about dancing in that way. But I will add here that the applicant's application doesn't say that she wants to do karaoke. She's saying she wants to have a DJ. So I think there is some confusion about what is actually being requested here. But as far as dancing, I don't see anything other than there's a ordinance in here that no dancing shall be permitted on the top of a bar at which patrons are directly served. So there's that. But other than that, I don't think that it would be a entertainment license issue.
Sí, estoy aquí simplemente para responder si es una violación, si alguien se pone a bailar mientras otra persona está cantando en el karaoke. No veo que haya nada en las ordenanzas que restrinja eso, así que la respuesta seguramente sería no. Pero a no ser que alguien, o que sí que hay una prohibición, es que la gente se suba en la barra del bar a bailar, en la que se están sirviendo las bebidas. Esa sería la restricción. Pero hay una cosa en la solicitud de la licencia, que es lo que igual eso crea un poco de confusión, porque en la solicitud de la licencia lo que usted está pidiendo es una solicitud para un DJ, para un disc jockey, no para karaoke.
So, and none of that was a question. That was just her talking. So, I have three questions for you. First, do you want to have a DJ?
Entonces, tres preguntas para usted. La primera sería, ¿quiere tener un DJ?
De hecho, sería un DJ que pusiera la música para la gente que cante.
It would be a DJ who would be playing the music for people to sing.
Do you want to have people dance on your bar?
¿Quiere que haya gente bailando en su restaurante, bar?
Pues yo creo que sí, porque a veces la gente se va a querer levantar para bailar.
I
Entonces, sí.
think so because people will want to do that, to get up and dance.
Do you want to have people stand on top of your bar and dance on it?
¿Quiere usted que la gente se le suba a la barra del bar y se ponga a bailar ahí?
No.
Good. And the third question is, do you still want, what would you like to do right now? Carry on with this or call it a night?
Y la tercera pregunta, la última sería, ¿qué quiere hacer ahora? ¿Quiere seguir adelante con esta solicitud o lo dejamos aquí por el día?
Yo creo que seguir.
I think to go on.
Again, I didn't hear.
To continue with the
Thank you.
With the process.
Okay, so we'll have Assistant City Attorney McReynolds, then Captain Hansen, then Ms. Carter. Assistant City Attorney McReynolds.
Thank you. I found something in, so I wanted to clarify for the applicant and the committee regarding dancing. So it wouldn't be a problem if there's karaoke and someone just gets up and dance, but if there's a designated dance area, then that would require an entertainment license. And there is a definition of what that means in here. But as far as the applicant's question about just if one person or two people get up and dance, that wouldn't be a problem with karaoke. But if there's a designated dance area, then it would require the entertainment license as well.
And Julio, before you translate, can you make it clear that this is not a question for her?
Ok, sí, esto no es una pregunta para usted, Anaí, es simplemente una aclaración que ha hecho la abogada de la ciudad, que encontró dentro de las ordenanzas, encontró una cosa que dice que si hay un área designada para bailar, entonces sí, necesita una licencia, pero la pregunta que usted tenía de si alguien se levanta a bailar, eso no sería necesario al tener la licencia. Y hay una definición de lo que significa un área designada para el baile.
Okay. So Captain Hansen, then Ms. Carter.
Great. I just wanted to note from the district this resides, this would be Midtown, and the captain from Midtown said that they have not heard from El Penzon regarding this application, and his concerns are lack of specific information. How will they handle the commingling of those under 21 and over 21? What will be the role of management during these events? And then what rules are given to the DJs and other private events? So these are some things that he pointed out for the committee and frankly the applicant to consider as we go down this path.
And are you sharing information with us or asking questions of the applicant?
Sorry, I did not know I could ask questions of the applicant, so I will ask those questions. Yeah. So for the interpreter, it is how will they handle commingling of those under age 21 and over 21? Are the events private or open to the public? And has ownership, what experience does the ownership or management have in regarding these entertainment licenses?
Sí, entonces, Anaí, ahora sí es una pregunta para usted, que él, como la zona donde están ustedes se considera Midtown, sería la zona que se considera, y el capitán de esa zona no ha escuchado nada sobre esta solicitud y tiene algunas preocupaciones en base a la falta de información. Y básicamente son tres, serían esas preocupaciones que van asociadas con una pregunta, con tres preguntas. Le voy a hacer las tres ahora y después si quieres se las refresco. La primera es que cómo manejarían el hecho de que se mezclaran personas que tuvieran menos de 21 años y más de 21 años. La segunda sería cuál sería la función de la administración de ustedes durante estos eventos y cuál es la experiencia que tienen para manejar este tipo de eventos. y había otra que eran las reglas para el DJ y la pregunta es si estos eventos serían principalmente privados o estarían abiertos al público.
Ok. Bueno, normalmente nosotros siempre cuando a alguien le servimos alcohol, pedimos la ID. Esa es una. Si en caso de que sí hiciéramos los eventos, pediríamos igual una identificación antes de entrar. Por lo del DJ, pues igual también sería su responsabilidad de anunciar a una cierta hora que se termina de servir el alcohol. Creo que sería esa todas.
Sí, déjeme, voy a traducir eso luego. Yeah, regarding the commingling of over under 21, we always ask for the ID to serve alcohol. So if we have an event like this, we will be asking for an ID at the entrance. For the rules for the DJ, he would be making some announcement about this during the session. Le falta la pregunta lo de los eventos privados, si serían eventos privados o abiertos al público.
Pues sería evento a público.
Yeah, and I was just clarifying because she didn't answer to the third one. So this would be events that would be open to the public.
Any further questions, Captain Hansen? Okay, I see no. Ms. Carter.
Thank you, Chair. My question is, can we amend the entertainment application to reflect the same condition that's on the regular, on the first application, so there's no conflict? Then,
we
and
don't-
this is to you, Chair.
Yeah, we don't need to amend the application. That is something we can apply as a condition if we grant the
Okay.
license.
Well, I didn't see on the application that she wanted to be open from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So that's
that would
why I
merely
asked.
be informative on the application. We have, regardless of whatever's written there, the right to put conditions on it.
Okay, when we get to that point, I would like to put that condition on it.
Sí, Anaí, entonces la señora Carter estaba preguntando si se vería posible enmendar la solicitud para que reflejara la misma condición que estaba puesta en la licencia de alcohol. El presidente del comité ha dicho que no sería necesario porque está ahí, entonces no sería necesario el enmendarlas, estaría vigente. Y la última sería que si para poner dentro de la solicitud los horarios de apertura del restaurante, que también podría incluirse como una condición.
Okay.
Ms. Carter.
Thank you. At this time, can I explain where I'm going with this, or do I wait till discussion time?
I'd like to see first if anyone has questions for the applicant so we can let her sit down.
Okay, then I'll wait. Thank you.
So committee, what questions do you have for the applicant?
Alder Figueroa has a raised hand.
Thank you. Alder Figueroa Cole.
Yeah, thank you. So, I'm still a little bit confused here because according to the lawyer, the application says DJ, but she's saying a karaoke. So are we now going for an entertainment license as a whole, like a full entertainment license service? Is that what we're trying to discuss here now?
It is
So she
unclear.
can use it for whatever, karaoke or other music?
That is somewhat unclear.
Anaí, la concejal Figueroa Cole estaba preguntando porque está un poco confundida con la cuestión del DJ y el karaoke sobre si ahora lo que se va a seguir adelante como pidiendo la licencia como karaoke o para DJ lo que sería una licencia completa de entretenimiento. Y el presidente también se refirió a esa confusión, que no está claro qué es lo que se está procediendo a hacer.
Bueno, quizás cuando yo llené mi aplicación no entendí muy bien la pregunta, pero pues sí, mejor sí me gustaría que fuera la licencia de entretenimiento, porque como le digo, pues sería un DJ que fuera a poner la música. Entonces, pues sí solicitaría mejor la licencia de entretenimiento, por favor.
Okay.
Yes, in my maybe it was confusing in my application, but it would be a DJ who would be playing the music for the people to sing. So I think then that I would be applying for the entertainment license.
Okay, thank you. And then whenever I get a chance, I have some more questions for the committee.
By all means. Committee.
Now it's fine?
No, I said,
Okay.
Are there any further questions for the applicant? All right. You may have a seat in the gallery.
Puede sentarse en la galería, en los asientos. Ahora va a empezar la sesión de discusión entre ellos. Pues ahora de momento no tienen preguntas para usted.
So now go ahead, Alder Figueroa Cole.
Yes. So a couple of questions. What is the without conditions? What will be the latest time, the latest hour that someone can have the local open for a entertainment license?
Well, so the existing condition on the alcohol license.
No, I mean in general, without just in general.
If we do not place any conditions on the entertainment license, I don't think there are hours restrictions. Assistant City Attorney McReynolds?
I think that's correct. I'm not 100% sure. I think it would be. I think that's right.
Yeah, like we don't generally see establishments saying we will continue doing entertainment even though we have to cease sales of alcohol. But absent additional conditions on the license, that would be permissible.
Okay. And then what is the latest time that the alcohol can be sold without conditions? Like, for example, Etiger is next door, and I don't know what their hours of operations are, but how long can they sell alcohol?
Based on the current licensed conditions, they can only sell alcohol until 10 p.m.
I mean, like in general, without the conditions.
Oh, without conditions, it would be 2 a.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 2:30 a.m. on Friday and Saturday.
Okay. So then, based on her input from earlier and what I'm gathering here, at the end of the day, the final thing here will be for her that I think she wants is to have an entertainment license and have work up all the way up to regular time, 2:30, whatever, on specific days of the week. And the only thing that is preventing her from doing that is one, getting a license for entertainment, and two, that she does have a condition on her license today. So if we give her the entertainment license today without any conditions, then she can still do the dancing and the party all night, but without the alcohol, and then she will have to come back later and ask for the extension or to remove the conditions of the license for alcohol. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So and Jim, Chair, earlier when you said that she could come back, is that additional fees that now she's going to have to incur to create a new application to change the conditions of the license?
Well, so there are different applications. This current application is an application for a new 21 plus entertainment license. It would be a separate application with its own separate fee to get a change of licensed conditions to adjust or remove the conditions on the alcohol license. But what
Okay.
we could do by referring this application to a future meeting, she wouldn't have to reapply for the entertainment license.
Okay. And then last question, when you say 21 over license permit thing, so at what time are 21-year-olds, I mean, less than 21-year-olds will not be allowed at the restaurant?
That is
This is a restaurant, right? Like, when is that? When do you cross the line there?
So that is an exciting area of the
Oh, no.
law. The way that we frequently see this express itself is that an establishment will operate as a restaurant until some time, and then they will make the switch over and say, now we are operating as a bar. An example would be State Street Brats, where they are a regular family restaurant. Anybody can come in, and at 9 p.m. they shoo out anyone who is under 21 and operate as a bar.
So technically today, she doesn't have any restrictions on age until 10 p.m. So she could say, I will be a restaurant until 10 p.m. And I mean, again, this is all if the licenses are granted and the restrictions are removed. I can be a restaurant until 10, and then at that point, I have to kick out anybody that is not 21 to then become a bar.
Well, no.
In general, I'm just saying again, not
Yeah, right.
if
Right
we didn't have
now,
conditions.
right now, she isn't allowed to sell alcohol at all after 10 p.m.
Correct. I understand. So if we remove the conditions of the alcohol license later, I know I'm going to have to answer all these questions in Spanish after this meeting. So I'm just trying to make sure that I have the right information.
Sure.
So if she is going to, if we were to remove the conditions at a later meeting for the 10 p.m. alcohol sales, she has no pretending she has no conditions for that, and she has an entertainment license that is approved with no conditions, then she also needs to understand that there will be a split where she will be a restaurant for part of the time and then become a bar after a certain time, because there's a 21-year-old restriction limits in there too. Is that correct?
I'm going to let Mr. Bruchak step in because I believe he has a point to make.
Yeah. Well, I'd just like to remind the committee and Alder Figueroa Cole that there is a second condition on the license. Namely, the second condition is must meet the definition of a restaurant as defined by 3802 at all times. So at all times, it must meet the definition of a restaurant, and people of all ages are allowed in restaurants.
So how does that work though? Because I did notice that too.
So they would not be allowed to exceed the amount of sales, 50% of gross sales would have to be food to meet the definition of a restaurant. So at all times, they would have to at least be deriving 50% of revenue from food sales. At all times. So it'll never be a point where they are selling, like, say, other places where at 11 p.m. they might be 100% alcohol. That would be prohibited by the second condition.
So, but then how does that fit with the 21-year-old restriction of the entertainment license? Isn't there a conflict?
No, I don't think so. I think the name of the license, the 21 plus entertainment license, is contrast with a I think that we have the distinction between, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, but the distinction between 18 plus and 21 plus is because the 18 plus are places that otherwise would be a tavern where only 21 plus could be allowed. This doesn't matter for this case because this isn't a tavern, this is a restaurant, and it must meet the definition of a restaurant at all times.
For example, when a coffee shop, which is always a coffee shop, which always sells coffee and is never operating as a bar, when they add entertainment, they get a 21 plus entertainment license.
And so, but the 21-year-old can still come in to get coffee after, at any time?
Correct.
Okay.
As can an 8-year-old, although they probably shouldn't drink coffee.
Unless you're Puerto Rican, but that's okay. Okay. I think I get it. Thank you.
No problem.
Yes.
So,
Committee, can I make a quick summary of the conversation for the applicant? Okay.
Yes.
Entonces, Ana, voy a hacer un resumen un poco rápido de todo lo que han hablado, que son muchas cosas. Entonces, lo que estaba preguntando la concejal Figueroa Cole es básicamente que cuál sería, hasta qué hora podría estar usted abierta si no hubiera la condición de las horas de venta de alcohol. Y básicamente no hay ninguna, siendo restaurante, no hay ninguna restricción de horas. Usted puede estar abierta hasta cuando quiera, pero no puede vender alcohol después de las 10 de la noche. Normalmente la cuestión, lo que dijo el presidente, es que si alguien pide la licencia de entretenimiento, normalmente es porque quieren servir alcohol, que no conoce ningún restaurante que extienda estas horas y no vaya a servir alcohol. Entonces, para la licencia, para la servir alcohol estaría hasta las 2 de la mañana, de domingo a jueves, y los viernes y sábado podría estar hasta las 2:30 abierta si pudiera servir alcohol, que ahora mismo tiene la restricción hasta las 10 de la noche. La licencia de entretenimiento en ningún momento se conjugaría con esto, porque habría que quitar la restricción de la licencia de alcohol para poder luego vender en el entretenimiento. Una pregunta sobre qué tipo de tarifas tendría que pagar si vuelve, y por eso estaba el presidente, por eso que pensaba en referir la solicitud para el futuro, para que no tuviera que pagar una nueva licencia, una nueva tarifa para la licencia, y que si pide una solicitud de cambio de la licencia, de lo que tiene ahora de la restricción de alcohol, para hacer ese cambio, ahí sí habría asociada un pago de una tarifa. La cuestión, otra cosa que sea claro, es que de todas maneras usted tiene, por la cuestión de si se pueden admitir de 21 años o menos de 21 años, la cuestión es que usted tiene la licencia, una de las restricciones que tiene es operar siempre como restaurante, lo que quiere decir que el 50% de sus ingresos en cualquier momento del día tiene que venir, al menos ese 50% tiene que venir de la comida. Entonces, después el presidente explicó un par de ejemplos, como por ejemplo el State Street Brats, que no sé si lo conoce, está en State Street, que hasta las 9 de la noche opera como un restaurante normal familiar, y a esa hora sacan a todos los menores y empieza a funcionar como un bar, sin que haya ningún tipo de restricciones. Pero esto a usted no le afecta porque usted tiene puesta una licencia que siempre es un restaurante. Y ejemplificaron cuál era la cuestión entre los de mayores de 21 años y mayores de 18 años, que esto tampoco le afecta porque tiene usted la restricción de que siempre debe operar como restaurante, pero el presidente puso el ejemplo de que una cafetería, si pide poner música, se le va a dar una licencia para mayores de 21 años, y eso no quiere decir que pueda entrar un niño de 8 años a pedirse un café, aunque no debiera, aunque si es puertorriqueño, por supuesto que sí. Okay.
Ms. Carter.
Thank you. So, with all of our discussion, I feel like this is the fork in the road. The applicant is saying she wants to go forward with the entertainment license, even though she has conditions on her alcohol license that prohibit her from serving alcohol after 10 o'clock.
Correct.
Correct, yes. And so she can either, on the other side, she can refer this to a future meeting, work on removing the restrictions from her alcohol license, and then bringing this back without incurring additional fees on this application. I think that's one of her choices, right? On which one she wants to do. And I think it's unclear, and yet it is clear which one she wants to do. What I was thinking was to allow the entertainment license to reflect the liquor license so she can go forward at least until she decides which one she wants to do without any issues. The other, oh, go ahead, Julio. I'm
Sí,
sorry.
entonces está bien. La señora Carter está diciendo que este es un momento que es, digamos, como una pequeña encrucijada en la que usted lo que quiere es continuar con la solicitud de la licencia de entretenimiento, pero también se podría traspasar a una reunión futura y tener usted ese tiempo para trabajar sobre las restricciones que tiene en la licencia de alcohol y después trabajar una vez que esas restricciones se hayan levantado, el poder trabajar, aplicar aprobar esa licencia de alcohol. Y la señora Carter lo que está diciendo es que también lo que se podría hacer es que en su solicitud de licencia de entretenimiento se reflejaran las restricciones que tiene en cuanto a su licencia de alcohol.
Thank you, Julio. I'm also concerned with what she said about having, I'm going to say private parties, because then you do have to be concerned about security. In addition, I'm concerned that she hasn't met with the captain of the district. In her case is Midtown. So if this is the correct time and knowing that she wants to go forward, I would like to offer the same condition she has on her liquor license to be placed on this entertainment license. And if it comes out that she actually does want to, again, I don't know if she wants to, but if it comes out that she does want to refer this, then I would be in favor of that, because I do think there's some confusion, and I don't think the alder has helped with the confusion. She's been part of the confusion. Thank you.
So, and to be clear to everyone on the committee, we don't need the applicant's approval to refer an item. I merely let her know that was an option that she could ask for if she wanted not to sit here through all of this tonight.
Absolutely.
So, anything else, Ms. Carter?
No, thank you, Chair.
No, I don't think.
I will pause for interpretation.
Sí, entonces hay varias cosas aquí. Lo único, lo de las fiestas privadas, en caso de que se hiciera algún tipo de fiesta privada, tendría que tener unas restricciones especiales de seguridad. Y otra cosa que aquí es importante, que no está la autorización del capitán del distrito o el consentimiento, o no se ha hablado con el capitán del distrito. Yo podría hacer aplicar la misma condición que hemos puesto antes en la licencia de entretenimiento, lo que hemos dicho, y quizás referir esto, también la otra opción sería referir esto a una reunión futura y quizás intentar aclarar toda la confusión en cuanto a esta licencia que se está generando. Y el presidente también aclaró que no necesitan su autorización o su deseo, Anaí, para referir esto a una reunión futura, que el comité por sí mismo puede decidir que se va a referir esto para una reunión en el futuro.
All right. Anything further, Ms. Carter? Right. Alder Figueroa Cull.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, I, regardless of which decision you guys make, I will definitely need, it would be great to have these, some of these rules sent to, the applicant and in some sort of email or communication in writing. Because again, this is not, we first started with the ask of a karaoke. It was explained that they didn't need a license and that this has evolved into an entertainment license. Nobody actually talked about private parties. It was actually very clear that that wasn't going to be a private party, they're public parties. She defined that. These conditions on the license were given in 2020, which is kind of also I find that a little bit odd because it's already been 3 years and I don't quite understand what happened there. So I would like to understand where the conditions came from and make sure that we are being equitable with the other businesses on the area and make sure that they're at the same level. And if now we are talking about an entertainment license that is going to have a opportunity for a higher level of noise in the area versus a karaoke, then I will definitely have to send this communication out again to the neighborhood area and the neighborhood association. But when we first initiated this, we were asking for a karaoke license, and that's what it was communicated to the people around the restaurant. So I personally I'm okay with a referral. I know I sent the email to Jason about this license, but it was not for the idea was that this was going to be a karaoke ask. So that's my point here, my ask from you guys. And thank you for answering all my questions. It's really a complicated process for everybody, and these entertainment licenses, including that application, it could really use some improvement. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bruchak.
Thank you. I'd just like to add, I think the applicant indicated that she was likely to come back and ask the committee for a change of license conditions to remove condition 1, that alcohol shall cease by 10 p.m. daily. So in that case, it would make sense for us to approve the request that we have before us today, so that it's already in place when the applicant comes back to ask for the condition number 1 to be removed. Of course, we can't predict exactly how that will go, but I'll tell the applicant right now that I'll support the removal of the condition where alcohol shall cease by 10 p.m. There's been no convincing basis articulated tonight as to why that condition should remain on the alcohol license. So I would support the applicant to come to the committee, and I will vote in favor of removing that first condition. And I also will vote in favor. Well, in fact, I'll move that we approve the request as is that's before us right now.
All right. Before there's any further discussion, first, is there a second to Mr. Bruchak's motion to grant? Second from Ms. Westra. Next, before we consider discussion, I will request that no one discuss the conditions on the alcohol license and the change of them, because that has not been properly noticed, and we don't want to run afoul of open meetings law. We'll have the opportunity to discuss that if and when this applicant makes that application as well. So, Mr. Bruchak, do you want to speak to your motion?
Well, I'd just like to follow up a little, just very briefly. The body's not making any decisions. I'm talking about my personal opinion, but I appreciate your warning, Mr. Chair.
And I'm not saying you did anything wrong. I really, really respect open meetings law. Ms. Westra.
I was gonna make a motion when I put my hand up, so I'll put it back down. I have nothing to say.
All right. Dr. Reese.
Okay, so I'm thinking here about whether it's smart for us to approve it as to entertain a motion to approve as is, or if it's better for us to refer. And the reason is because the applicant doesn't need a license. If she wants to do karaoke right now, she could do karaoke right now. She doesn't need this license for that. Given the plan that was presented to us about 10 to 2, I think that raises concerns and all the questions that have come up tonight. I think to keep the confusion down, I think I will vote no on this motion, and then I would move to refer to the meeting where she comes back to ask for a change of conditions.
Thank you, Dr. Reese. Alder Figueroa Cole.
That was from, my hand was up from before, but I do actually agree with that last statement. She can do karaoke right now if that's what she wants to do, and gives her time to get her affairs in order with the rest of the application. And I will lower my hand now. Thank you.
Excellent. Mr. Bruchak.
I'll just add that what I heard the applicant say was that the applicant wanted to have a DJ where people were potentially invited to sing along. I thought we asked the applicant twice or 3 times. Do you want this? Is your desire for this application to go forward today? And I thought the answer was yes, each of those times.
Ms. Carter.
Well. I will not be supporting for this to go forward. I will be supporting Dr. Reese if she decides to do the motion to refer. Thank you. And just let me say, if she is going to be open from 10 p.m. to 2 p.m., whatever Friday she decides, the neighborhood should also know this prior to us approving this.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Carter. Dr. Reese, then Ms. Farley.
And not to create a debate or confusion, but I'll just share that my understanding of the explanation was trying to be very specific and thinking about all the possible definitions of DJ. And so if you think about what karaoke is, there is a person who presses play on the songs to sing. And so that was my understanding of the explanation.
Ms. Farley.
Yeah, I agree with Ms. Reese and Ms. Carter that I think it makes sense to refer this since the applicant has indicated an interest in putting in an application to amend their current license restrictions.
Committee, any further discussion? Mr. Verbeek, will you please call the roll? The motion is to grant with no conditions.
Alder Miadzi. Alder Miadzi. I'll go ahead to Alder Revere.
No.
Alder Revere, no. Mr. Bruchak. Mr. Bruchak, aye. Dr. Reese.
No.
Dr. Reese, no. Ms. Farley.
No.
Ms. Farley, no. Ms. Westra.
Yes.
Ms. Westra, yes. Ms. Carter.
No.
Ms. Carter, no. Alder Miadzi.
No.
Alder Miadzi, no. Chair, the vote is 2 ayes, 5 noes.
All right, motion fails. Committee, what is your pleasure? Dr. Reese.
I move to refer the application I don't know if I have to say to the next meeting, or I would like to say it at the time that the applicant requests to change her conditions.
Mr. Verbeek, do you have any concerns about that?
No, because the deadline for the January meeting's passed already, so it'd likely be February at the earliest.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second from Alder Miadze.
Second from Alder Miadze. Discussion. Ms. Carter.
I just have a friendly, although there's no friendly amendment, to make it a future meeting.
Yeah, I would amend that. That makes sense.
So the motion is
Thank
to refer to a future meeting of the ALRC and trusting to the discretion of the fine folks at the clerk's office to return it to our agenda. Committee, any further discussion? Hearing none, is there any dissent? If there is, we will do a roll call vote. Okay, Mr. Verbeek, please call the roll.
Alder Revere?
Aye.
Alder Revere, aye. Mr. Brusick? Mr. Brusick, no. Dr. Reese?
Aye.
Dr. Reese, aye. Ms. Farley?
Aye.
Ms. Farley, aye. Ms. Westra?
Aye.
Ms. Westra, aye. Alder Miadze?
Aye.
Alder Miadze, aye. Ms. Carter?
Aye.
Ms. Carter, aye. Chair, the vote is 6 ayes, 1 no.
All right, motion carries. So item 11 on our agenda has been referred to a future meeting of the ALRC. So if and when you return with an application for a change of license conditions, we can take this item up again. I strongly recommend that before doing so, you engage with the alder and the captain of the Midtown District of Madison Police Department.
Can I? Yep. Okay, le voy a hacer un resumen un poco rápido de todo lo que se ha hablado. Entonces, la concejal Figueroa Cole dijo que es una cuestión, las restricciones que tiene de alcohol vienen desde el 2020 y es un poco ya hace tiempo, entonces no se sabe muy bien cuál era la razón entonces para esa restricción y que para ser más equitativo con los otros negocios del área, que quizás habría que revisar eso, que la única preocupación es la cuestión del ruido en las áreas y pidió que se le comunicara, tiene que haber una comunicación pública para el vecindario para que puedan dar su opinión sobre la cuestión de la licencia. El concejal, una reunión futura para poder hablar de ese cambio de las 10 hasta las 2 de la noche para poder vender alcohol y que se discutiera la licencia de entretenimiento en el momento en el que usted volviera para solicitar ese cambio para la licencia de alcohol, dado que para el karaoke no necesita ninguna licencia especial, puede hacerlo cuando usted quiera. La señora Carter dijo que ya no aprobaría la solicitud y era más favorable a que se refiriera esto a un consejo futuro. Se hizo la votación para aprobar y el resultado fue negativo. No se aprobó la solicitud de la licencia de entretenimiento. Entonces después hubo una moción con la que proponía la señora Ruiz de referir esto hacia el futuro y eso es lo que se ha aprobado. Entonces ahora mismo lo que ha quedado, simplemente para que lo que es lo que tiene que quedarle claro, es que su solicitud de licencia de entretenimiento se ha referido para una reunión futura que coincidiría con la reunión en la que usted pidiera el cambio de licencia de alcohol. En estos momentos, para la reunión de enero, ya no hay plazo para poder solicitar eso para que entre dentro de la reunión de enero, entonces como muy pronto sería la de febrero. Okay, pero la moción es que se cambie para una reunión futura, no sin un tiempo específico. Y la recomendación que le dan es que hable con la concejal de la zona, con su concejal y también con el capitán de policía de Midtown, del distrito en el que está su restaurante.
Have a good night. And thank you, Julio. All right, moving right along. Item 4, change of agent for SAS of Madison at 10 West Mifflin. Minister Verbeek, do we have a registrant here for this item?
Yes, Joseph Perkins is registered and in Zoom.
All right, Joseph, are you here with us?
I am here.
Wonderful. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us what's going on?
I think we're family now, as many times I've been on here. My name is Joseph Perkins. My business partner and I split a couple months ago when we changed, combined Tudo and SAS. She was the agent, so we're removing her and put myself as the agent.
All right, thank you very much. Committee, actually, Mr. Verbeek, is there anything you would like to share with us about this item?
Yeah, I'd probably pass this along to Captain Hansen. This application was flagged in the background check.
All right, Captain Hansen.
Yes, thank you. I still have not had, I saw Alder Revere's email thread regarding this question, and I still have not received the background information for this incident here, or this applicant. So I'm sorry that it was flagged from the police department standpoint, and let me just go through these files here. Okay, I'm sorry. I have it in front of me now. We have a very astute person that does our background investigations for the police department. I do have it in front of me. I'm sorry. So the concern from our background investigation, again, this is for information for the committee. It is not to influence or pass judgment whatsoever. But the reason we had it flagged was the 3 OWIs that Mr. Perkins hasn't when we ran his background investigation. One was in 1999, one was in 2011, and one was in 2014. And that is the reason for the flag.
Committee, what questions do you have for the applicant? All right. Mr. Verbeek, are there any other registrants for this item?
No, this is it.
Committee, what's your pleasure? Dr. Reese.
Move to approve.
Hear a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Westra. Any discussion? Hearing none. Any dissent? Hearing none. Motion carries. Item 4 is granted. Congratulations, Joseph, and have a good night.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Later. Are we still waiting for item 10?
We have not taken up.
No, I'm sorry. Are we still waiting for the person?
Yep, the person is registered for, item 10. Yep.
Okay. Item 10 is a change of licensed conditions for the Regent Street Mini Mart at 1401 Regent. Do we have a registrant present for this item?
Actually, now that I'm not seeing them in Zoom, they told me in an email that they were there, but I don't see them there. I don't know unless they get disconnected. Someone named Roger has their hand up. I don't know if this is somebody, just the name is wrong.
Give it a try.
Yeah, that's Niraj. Sorry, I had a technical issues with my laptop, so I had to sign in with my phone. So this is Niraj.
Cool. We don't need the full background. So will you please introduce yourself and tell us what you are asking for?
So this is Niraj Kaushal, and we are asking or requesting to remove the restrictions that were put on during the initial hearing. So the restriction was to not sell any single cans larger than 24 ounce. But the neighborhood committee did approve that. So we're just asking to remove those restrictions.
Cool. Thank you. Naresh, what is your role in this business?
I am the co-owner.
Excellent. Okay. That is what I needed. Committee, what questions do you have for the applicant? Let's see, Ms. Farley, then Ms. Carter.
I move to grant.
I hear a motion to grant from Ms. Farley. Is there a second? Second from Mr. Bruchak. Ms. Carter.
Yes, Roger, when you say that the neighborhood approved, are you saying that the neighborhood has supported?
Yes, they did support that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And we received an email to that extent, Ms. Carter.
Okay, I just wanted clarification between approve and support. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Mr. Bruchak.
Just thanks. So Roger, what changed? Why did they change their stance on this condition?
It was approved during our initial approval, but when we were in the ALRS meeting last time, I think the motion was passed to restrict that. We didn't realize that until the license was issued.
What I suspect is that we received a letter from the neighborhood association saying that they would like certain conditions and we're fine without other ones, and that we then applied the standard conditions that we've applied to all establishments in that area regarding size of containers and the like.
Standard. This area on Regent Street is this downtown standard
Yes.
area. Okay.
And do you have further questions?
Nope.
Otherwise, I bet Alder Verveer has something to say about that. Alder Verveer.
Thank you, Chair. I actually just had a simple request as it relates to the wording of the motion, which I do support. But before I mention that, I will just mention for my colleagues that the standard conditions do not include the Regent Street corridor beyond Regent Street liquor. So the furthest west that we've had those historically is Regent Street liquor, closer to Park Street, beginning with the Quick Trip on Monroe Street. They set the trend for lesser conditions. I'll say Mill Street to the west. Anyway, that wasn't why I originally raised my hand. It was simply that this is kind of silly, but I really would prefer if we use the word larger than bigger, which is what is in the application and what's on our agenda. So if we could simply say that the sale of single cans and bottles, or bottles and cans, however it's currently worded, are no larger than 24 ounces.
Does either the mover or seconder have any concern with changing the word from bigger to larger? They are fine with it. Anything further, Alder Verveer?
No, thank you.
Ms. Carter.
I'll move my hand. I'll bring it down. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee, any further discussion? Hearing none, is there any dissent? Hearing none, motion carries. The conditions will be changed. Congratulations, Niraj, and have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, item 13 is a new license application for a Super 8 at 1602 West Beltline. Do I have a registrant here for this item?
Let me refresh. Didn't see one before. We do not. And I had emailed earlier, this amongst other applicants I hadn't seen registered before, and this person still is not registered, so.
Committee, what is your pleasure? Ms. Westra?
Move referral.
Your motion to
To
refer.
next.
Is there a second? Second from Ms. Farley. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Any dissent? None. Motion carries. Item 13 is referred. Let's see. And Jim, that was Amy and Kat. Item 14, new license application for Ramen Station at 1124 South Park. Do we have a registrant here for this item?
Yes, Erica Nee.
All right. Erica, can you please introduce yourself and tell us about your proposed establishment?
Erica, you're unmuted on our end. You may be muted on your headset or mic. Oh, it looks like you're connecting audio right now. All right, Erica, it looks like there you go.
Hello?
Hello, Erica. Will you please introduce yourself and tell us about your proposed business?
It looks like they lost connection with their audio. It says they're reconnecting right now.
All right. Now let's wait another minute.
And Erica, we could hear you before when you were connected. It looks like it's still in the connecting process, so you may have a prompt or a pop-up that says to connect your audio.
Hello?
Yep, we can
Hello.
hear you now.
Oh my God. Okay. Hi, my name is Erica.
Excellent. Erica, can you please tell us about the business you're proposing?
We are, we changed to new company, LLC. So we should have a new company, so we need a new application for the new license fee.
So, will you tell us, what will your restaurant be like?
It's a ramen station. We serve a Japanese ramen and ramen noodles, and also a skewer and some teriyaki.
All right. Committee, what questions do you have for the applicant? Ms. Farley, then Ms. Westra.
Erica, you currently have a license. So it's my understanding that you are bringing this to the committee because Ramen Station is moving to the ownership of a new LLC.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
And Erica, are you part of the new LLC?
Yes.
Are you part of the old one?
No, it was under my husband.
Excellent. Thank you. Ms. Westra.
You're muted.
Yep. Erica, are there going to be any changes with how Ramen Station is currently run?
No, nothing changes.
Anticipating a potential question, There are currently no conditions on this license. Ms. Carter?
Thank you. That was one of the questions I was gonna ask, so thank you for reading my mind.
No problem.
Thank you.
Let's see, Dr. Reese.
I'll move to grant.
A motion to grant from Dr. Reese. I see a second from
Second.
Ms. Westra. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Oh, Ms. Farley.
Yeah, I just have a question probably for Mr. Verbeek. Does the current license then become revoked? Because I understand that a license, we can't have two licenses in the same premise at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So the applicant can essentially surrender the old license once they're ready to get the new license issued.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions or discussion or dissent? Right, hearing none, motion carries. Item 14 is granted. Congratulations, Erica, and I hope you have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Next up, items 15 and 16 are a new alcohol license and 21 plus entertainment license for Moxie by Marriott at 823 East Wash. So, will you please introduce yourself and tell us about your proposed business?
Sure. My name is Sherry Straka. I represent North Central Hospitality. We are currently under construction on a Moxie by Marriott on East Washington Avenue. We're going to be a 151-room hotel that also has a bar and a pantry off the bar that serves snacks for our guests, as well as some beer that will be served out of there. And that will also have to be taken to the bar for purchase as well.
Thank you. Committee, what questions do you have for the applicant? Dr. Reese.
I just was curious if you mentioned on the question about plan for unruly patrons, intoxicated patrons, and physical disturbances. They'll follow all guidelines outlined in the alcohol training. I was wondering if you could just elaborate a little bit based on your understanding.
Yeah, so the brand, Marriott brand, requires us to have TIPS training. Within that TIPS training, we are taught how to recognize the signs of if somebody's intoxicated, how to properly handle stop servicing of the patron or guest, as well as we do have on-site security, and we do and can advise them to come down if needed or come to the bar to help if we see some sort of fight happening or some sort of disturbance, to either remove that patron or the guest from the hotel, or advise them to go to their guest room.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Reese. Ms. Carter.
So when you said that the security would come down, where is the security located in the upper floors then?
No, sorry about that. If they were patrolling the building, we would be able to get a hold of them and advise them to come down to the bar.
Okay. And so in the bar, is there going to be entertainment there?
Not on a regular basis. The entertainment license, what that would be covering is if in fact we do have a DJ for a celebration going on, or if we do have a fashion show. But we are obviously in the industry of sleep. So any loud noises past a certain amount of time obviously does not assist us in our business. So it would just be to cover our basis when opening this new business.
I've never heard of the industry of sleep. I like that.
It sure is.
As,
People, you don't mess with people's sleep.
as a regular business traveler, I've given that a lot of thought, and there are a couple of hotel chains I avoid. So, yours is not one.
Thank you, Sherry.
Yes, no problem.
Committee, what other questions do you have for the applicant? Assistant City Attorney McReynolds, then Ms. Carter.
Hi, I have a question about the outdoor area. In the description, you said there would be an outdoor patio and a walk-up window. And then lower, I think where it says the indoor-outdoor capacity, the outdoor capacity is listed as not applicable. So I just wanted to get some clarification on that and whether the walk-up window is something that is only accessible for your patrons, limited to a certain area.
Yeah, so let me address the outdoor area. We do have a small, I think you can fit up to 10 people out there. It is actually barricaded off, so you cannot actually leave our premises. And so if people wanted to go sit outside and enjoy a flatbread and maybe a beer, that area would be able to allow that. And then for our walk-up window, what that is we have partnered with a local sausage company in Wisconsin. And so it would mainly be used for any special events that were being hosted at Breese Stevens Field, a Badger game where somebody can walk up and get a brat or a sausage, as well as if they were wanting to be able to purchase unopened alcohol out of that window.
Ms. Carter.
If we're at the point, I like to move approval.
Your motion
If
to
not, I'll wait.
that's fine. I hear a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Westra. Mr. Verbeek, are there any other registrants for this item? And while he's doing that, Ms. Carter, are you talking about items 15 and 16, alcohol license and 21 plus entertainment license?
Correct.
And Ms. Westra, was that your understanding as well? Excellent. Any other registrants?
Yeah, Andy Inman is registered in support, is available to answer questions.
Thank you. All right, committee, any further questions or discussion? Westra? Hearing none, is there any dissent? Hearing none, motion carries. Items 15 and 16 are granted. Congratulations and have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, next up, item 17. 17, new license application for The Wedge at 2001 Atwood. Do I have a registrant here for this item?
Yeah, Jacob Gayet is registered and he is in Zoom.
Excellent. Jacob, can you please?
Hello?
Yep. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us about your proposed business?
Yeah, my name is Jacob Gayet. I'm proposing a cheese shop and tap room in the old One Barrel Brewing Company space at 2001 Atwood. Wisconsin cheese, Wisconsin beer. Yeah, all things Wisconsin over here.
All right, thank you. Committee, what are your questions for this applicant? Mr. Bruchak.
So you plan to sell liquor and beer for both on and off premises consumption?
Not off premise, just on.
And Limburger sandwich is on the menu?
Correct.
Does it come with a mint?
And Andy's chocolate mint.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's all my questions.
Committee, what further questions do you have for the applicant? Mr. Verbeek, are there any other registrants for this item?
There are not. I just remembered, I'm not sure if Captain Hansen remembers this, but this is a background check that was flagged for I believe it's a pending OWI. I think I forgot to let the background check people know to include that one in your dossier, but I know we've talked about it in email before.
Thank you, Mr. Verbeek. All right, committee, Captain Hansen.
Yes, I do remember email exchanges. And is this the one where the trial date was in January? And we wanted to wait to see the developments?
Yes, the day after the January ALRC meeting.
Committee, what questions or discussion do you have? What's your pleasure?
Move approval.
Your motion to approve from Ms. Westra. Is there a second? Second from Mr. Bruchak. Anticipating the potential question, when One Barrel was licensed at this location, it did not have any conditions on its license. Any discussion? Hearing none, is there any dissent? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 17 is granted. Congratulations, Jacob, and have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Next up, item 18, report of Madison Police Department. Captain Hansen, is there anything to which you would like to draw our attention?
Nothing specific. We do continue to see disturbances in the Henry Street area in front of Soto and the Plaza. That has been the area of our focus here with resources leading up to bar time. They are coming out of those bars. I've talked to management at the Plaza personally, and they are trying to not only quell disturbances inside the bar, but also alerting and working with our staff at the Madison Police Department. So that's our area of focus on weekend nights because we have had some rather large scale fights, the 20s and 30s and 40 people fighting in the street there. And I just wanted to bring that to the ALRC's attention. Other than that, no other major incidents in the bar entertainment area, and this weekend marks the students going home and being gone, so knock on wood, it should be some time for us to catch up. We never like to use the quiet words, so time for us to catch up on other projects.
I was apparently operating under the misconception that the police would worry about jinxing themselves. So I hope you have not done so. Committee, what questions do you have for our representative of the police department? All right, moving right along. Item 19, report of city clerk. Mr. Verbeek, is there anything to which you would like to draw the committee's attention?
I do not have anything additional. I'm open for questions, though.
Committee, what questions do you have for Mr. Verbeek?
Did the doodle pool get filled out? The poll? Availability poll?
A good question. Let me just double check on it real quick.
While he's doing that, I would like to commend Captain Hansen, Ms. Westra, and Ms. Carter for the beautiful pink upper row in the Zoom meeting. It has made me happy all night.
Yeah, it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 voting members that filled it out. So, so far it looks like the best date is probably going to be Tuesday, January 16th, which is the day before our next meeting.
Yeah, so it'll be fresh in everybody's minds.
Yeah.
Any further questions? And if you haven't yet, please fill it out.
I was also going to say, conflict of interest statements. Where are we with that? Since you're not running around with laptops making us fill it out.
Well, it wouldn't do me any good since there's only 2 members here. But I'm not sure off the top of my head where we are on that. But as stated at the top of the agenda, I would encourage everyone to fill it out. The deadline is January 2nd. If you missed the deadline, if you have not completed by that deadline, you should do so as soon as possible, because after that deadline, you are not able to be you're still on the committee, but you're not able to actually vote on anything on the committee, and you face potential removal from the committee.
And you don't count toward quorum, right?
I believe that's correct.
So you run the risk of us not being able to have a meeting.
That makes me sad.
Ms. Farley.
I don't know if this is the appropriate time to ask this, but I know we brought up the doodle poll. I was curious if we could add, I guess, like a recurring topic at the beginning of each of our meetings, expressing to the community and folks that are joining the meeting that we are looking for feedback on the process for applicants who are not, English is not their first language.
It is fine to bring that up now. What I would recommend is that you email Mr. Verbeek and licensing at cityofmadison.com with what you'd like on the agenda, and they will certainly add it.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Verbeek? Okay, item 20, and this is the first of these that I've seen, I think. There is a citizen communication that Mr. Verbeek has brought to our attention. I've read this. I don't know if everybody else has had the opportunity to. I don't think that we can't take specific action on this, but we can discuss it. So I open the floor.
So I'm just going to say something. I think that we should limit our discussion on this. There is no real legal standing that we have as our committee to be able to do anything about this.
Noted. All right, does anyone want another minute, or shall we move on? Dr. Reese.
Just to note that I don't know if there's any process for notifying us when complaints are made against licensed establishments. So it's good to have this on the radar. Does anyone know if there is a process other than the person who makes the complaint for any complaints getting routed to us for our information?
Mr. Verbeek?
There's not a formal process for it. I know occasionally either any combination of myself or Assistant City Attorney Zillavi get emails from neighbors and express concerns about maybe certain licenses and their conditions and things like that. I know in this situation, this is one where Assistant City Attorney Zillavi recommended I put on the agenda. So I don't think I've had a similar situation where we've done this before since I've been here. But no, there is no formal process.
Thanks. And I was specifically curious because of it being a DCR complaint. And just to note that, and I have not, I've skimmed this, I've not read every word, but I know there are some racial implications. And there was a recommendation made by the task force on equity in music and entertainment to ensure that we have, I always forget the name of it, but there's a citizen position that people can get trained in to go and observe to ensure that civil rights are maintained. And so I just wanted to note that for the record, that was a recommendation to come to potentially introduce to establishments, in that case with liquor license and entertainment license. But I think it's relevant in this case too, because that civil rights kinds of things are trickier. With conditions, we generally have things written down fairly clearly to make a decision. I mean, they're not easy, but we can make a decision. And so just making sure that, and maybe that's something I'll ask DCR too, if there's a way, if things like this happen, we can get the information.
Thank you, Dr. Reese. Any further discussion of item 20? All right, then at this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion from Mr. Bruchak. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Westra. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed have the same privilege. Motion carries. ALRC is adjourned at 7:44 p.m. Have a good night, everyone. And
Good night.
happy holidays.
Have a good night.
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.